What things should be kept private from you so, no matter how healthy your relationship is. No matter how healthy a relationship is, there'll always come a time where you have resentful thoughts of your spouse. Those should be kept to yourself, as most of them pass quickly. The only time you should share them is if they are persisting in some behavior that is hurting you, and then it should be done calmly and not in the heat of the moment. For instance, if you got home from work, tired to find your spouse binge watching a TV show, but the sink is full of dirty dishes, the impulse may be to lace into them. Don't. Go ahead and do the dishes. And tomorrow, when that initial flash of anger has passed, discuss the issue. People say arguments can be healthy in a relationship, but it all comes down to how you argue. Spouses, at least if they're good ones, know intimate details about you, your past, and how you think and feel. This gives them weapons to hurt you, and it may be tempting to use such weapons when angry. But if you know your spouse has a sore spot about their dad, and you say in anger this is why your dad never loved you, you have permanently damaged your relationship, and that damage builds up over time. Successful relationships survive because people rein themselves in that moment. Even when they are angry, they don't want to inflict wounds like that. So whenever the impulse arises to use those weapons in anger, resist the temptation. You may forget what you did quickly, but they won't. This is very true. I grew up with parents who used words as weapons. It's a struggle for me not to do the same. It's almost reflex to want to just go for the jugular, but I never do. We've been married 10 years this July. If your relationship started under potentially offensive pretenses, they were madly in love but they were just the your rebound. An old friend of mine's GF told him this. I was there when it happened, and I swear to God I saw his heart break. They were really good together and really liked each other, so he tried to keep going. But I watched it eat him from the inside out until he just couldn't take it anymore and broke up with her. There really are some things you just can't take back. To me it would matter a lot if they still felt that way. Sometimes it may take longer for one person to develop feelings than the other. That's okay if you arrive at the same level. That you know you're the pet's favorite person. Oof. I'm absolutely both of our dog's favorite person. We both know it, but I would never ever say that to my wife. No one deserves to be told such a thing. Where I hide the secret. Spare pair of scissors I keep for when he's lost all the other 11 pairs of scissors we own, and I need to trim a chip bag down. To make getting to the chips easier, I had a pair of nail clippers stashed away because they were never where they were supposed to be. After my wife passed away I found 9 pairs in her desk drawers, in purses she hadn't used in years, 3 pair in with her macube. Sorry to hear about your wife. Sounds like me, though. I own at least 5 nail clippers. The only one I can reliably find is the one that lives in my drawer at work. I only work 2 days a week. /view 200D. Honestly I laughed every time I found another pair, including one pair recently. She's been gone 5 years now. In the far back of our basement bathroom cabinet, like she was stashing a pair away from me. It wouldn't surprise me if she thought I was the one losing them. She once walked up to me and asked to borrow my glasses because she couldn't find hers. She had 2 pair on her head, up in all her hair. I thought she was F with me, but then we both couldn't stop laughing as I pulled them out of her curls. The location of your ships while playing Battleship. No one expects me to orient my ships vertically so that they each take up only one space. Yeah, but one hit means the ship is sunken. It's a high risk / high reward strategy. Sometimes, no matter how attractive your partner is to you, and no matter how much you love them, there is an aspect to them that isn't changeable, but that you find gross, or annoying, or just generally less than attractive. Clogged nose pores, a laugh that sounds like a muppet, big toenails that just look a little bit weird, or that single long hair growing from inside their ear that just keeps coming back. No matter what they do, if it's going to make them feel insecure or unloved, this is something you should just keep to yourself. In a relationship, you learn each other's weak points and vulnerabilities, and using them against your partner is a boundary that, once you cross it, you can't come back from. Once you make someone feel like they can't trust you with their vulnerable self, Your relationship is on its way out. Once you make someone feel like they can't trust you with their vulnerable self, your relationship is on its way out. Feeling this right now. My partner dismissed when I was vulnerable with them multiple times. Boundaries were crossed. They are being very apologetic and promise to change. They clearly regret how they acted, but I'm not sure I can move forward anymore. My dad has mentioned a few times that in their 40+ years of marriage, he's never gone in her top dresser drawer or purse. I frequently get into my wife's purse, not to snoop, but to get her keys or something else that for some damn reason is impossible to find in there. It's like a black hole. Sometimes I'll just walk the whole thing to the car to unlock it instead of digging through. I'm always asked to get something like her wallet. It's in the side pocket. There are pockets within side pockets within side pockets. They allow us extra purse pockets because we rarely get pant pockets. Your psychologist/therapy sessions. I had an ex that used to demand I tell him what I talked about in my sessions, and it was super uncomfortable. With my current partner we are both in therapy, and if it's a phone session the other goes in a different room. If we want to talk about something we told the psych or something we will tell our psych at the next appointment we do, but I would never ask, and nor would he. We might ask how did it go? To which the other may say it was good, or it was emotionally draining. But that's as far as it should go. These are personal sessions, not couples therapy. We are not in that. Big agree. My partner goes to therapy. I always ask how it went, and I do that to know the level of aftercare my partner may need. Sometimes he needs left alone. Sometimes he needs ice cream and a TV show to binge. Oftentimes he does tell me about the session, but I always remind him he doesn't have to. I think talking about it with me helps him process it. My girlfriend is this way and thank God she doesn't push me. I'm always open to tell her, especially from past appointments, and I'll slowly open up, especially on some of the more severe stuff. Like a little while ago when I saw someone die in a car accident for the 3rd time in my life. I'm just happy she doesn't push me, because wow would my relationship be actually stressful if she did. The unkindness you think when you're angry and tired. It will absolutely never help at all to say any of it out loud, and even if you don't have a particularly big fight or break up over it, you'll still regret it, and they'll still remember. Possibly also what you think about how hot other people are. Depending on how jealous/insecure your so is. People seldom understand that the longer you are with someone you love, the more you need kindness, compassion, and discretion. You know too much about each other that can be weaponized. Yep. I was married to my late husband for 35 years before he died. There were a few times I just had to bite my tongue or called for a timeout, lest I say something too hard to forgive and forget. I don't like to fight, but I did grow up in a semi-chaotic household with a widowed, alcoholic, working mother and my 5 younger siblings, and the bad habits of family fighting were not something I wanted to live with as an adult. Hey, just want to say PPL, like you make Reddit worth using. Experience and wisdom to be shared that's needed here, but is seldom found. Some of the best comments I've ever saved or read have been written by people with 35+ years experience with something, and I've got some of the best life advice I've ever received from them. Thank you. If she poops on the table while birthing your child, no she didn't. My wife pooped in the tub at the hospital. I did my best to paddle it out of sight, so the nurse will scoop it out before she saw. But she saw. Now it's a running joke. She can't gross me out. I took a bath with her poop. Yes, I was in the water too. When she was pushing, she asked me to be. That actually made me laugh out loud instead of just a sharp breath through the nose. My wife is sensitive about animals, so anytime I see/read some sort of tragedy related to an animal, I hide it from her. You may want to look at www.dosethedogd.com. Basically lets you see if a TV show/movie has any animals being injured/dying. Among other things people may have issues with. My wife has a hard time dealing with that, even if it's clearly CG. So I always check before we watch a new show. As a person with severe PTSD that is easily triggered by violence to animals, thank you from the bottom of my heart for sharing this site. My steady supply of jokes. I set up my Android to send me a joke every night at 5 PM and I tell it to my husband later on. Before I jump in the shower. He always asks where I'm getting this stuff from, and I just laugh and shut the bathroom door. I would like him to continue thinking of me as this endless joke fairy for the rest of our lives. That's funny because I was sorting through newest comments and I saw one that was like, my wife uses an app to get a joke that she tells me every night. I'll never tell her I know she uses the app because I want her to think she's funny. Somebody found the comment further down and it's from a fresh account. 0 days old. And it's 1 hour old, yet yours is 2 hours. There's mischief afoot. That I know you keep a secret stash of chocolate in the Tampax box. Not my business. My mom kept a big bag of mini baking chocolate kisses. My mom hated that my dad would eat them straight from the bag, so she started moving them around the house to hide them. Different drawer, behind the silverware, in a box of crackers, etc. One day I walked in on my dad, standing in the cleaning closet with the bleach and brooms, and saw him eating chocolate kisses from a towel rack filled with cat toys and dusters. He said that occasionally, he'd buy bags, himself, to refill what he took just to keep it interesting. Whether or not I like my butthole licked, it's not something you should share with my mom when you're losing a game of Uno. Molly, LMAO. That's awesome. I do 12-step stuff, and I won't tell her what I hear in the rooms. Who you see here, what you hear here, when you leave here, let it stay here. So it's a party foul that, when I asked a buddy how he met his buddy, he said recovery. Things that you don't like about their body, they just don't need to know. If you are concerned about their health or hygiene, that warrants a conversation, but making comments about physical flaws, completely unnecessary. My ex used to always make little jabs about my appearance. I think he thought that those were things I didn't realize were wrong with me, and that I would correct them if they were brought to my attention. Every single comment is burned in my brain and did nothing but make me more self-conscious. My current partner never ever makes negative comments about my body, and when I point out my own flaws he always spins them into something charming and unique about me. It's really nice. Oh man, reminds me of the Reddit post with the woman who so would tell her every day how badly she smelled. Poor woman showered and brushed her teeth multiple times a day and the dude still told her. Eventually she flipped her S on him and learned his dad taught him to purposely insult her like this so she would feel low and stay with him. Gross. Edit to add the link. https://www.reddit.com/r/best/reddit or updates/comments/va3/oops_telling_her_she/utm_sourc equals share and utm_medium equals ios_app and utm_name equals iossmf. The huge P of your ex-boyfriend, and how much more satisfying it is to have someone with a normal one. Trust me, I know it's not logical, but no dude wants to hear that. Don't question it, just trust me. It's funny, my husband and I have never talked about past relationships. I always thought it was healthy and a standard practice in understanding your current relationship, but I haven't felt the need and he doesn't ask or bring it up. I've recently started dating a girl, and it's one of the first relationships in which we haven't been asking each other about each other's dating history. It's quite refreshing, honestly. I can imagine some things will eventually come up, but I do cherish the fact that neither of us are pressing for those details. It's like we both get to start with a blank slate. Even though my wife and I have been happily married for 6 years, we decided we would never go for a S while the other is in the shower. We are just not going there. That's just common decency. I don't know why, but I know that S somehow smells so much worse in a foggy room than a dry one. Nobody should have to be in an enclosed space with that fresh hell. The smell receptors in your nose work best in high humidity environments, so you are actually more sensitive to smell with the shower on. Explains why shower farts smell so badly. Where your secret stash of band-aids is. I don't know about the rest of you, but my wife and kids will go through an industrial size case of band-aids faster than you can say supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, and the twice a year I actually need one they're never there. At my house it's scissors. We have 3 kids, and for whatever reason, Anytime any one of them uses scissors, the scissors just vanish forever. I did an experiment once where for 5 weeks, I bought 2 new pairs every time I did my weekly grocery shopping, and simply put them where our scissors are supposed to be whenever I saw that there were no scissors there. To this day I haven't seen any of those 10 scissors since. So I keep the secret pair on top of the fridge for my own use only. Yup. That's probably my biggest gripe at our house. Really, they are not good about putting things where they belong when they are done using them at all. I noticed stuff not put up, and it's mildly annoying. But when you need scissors, you need scissors. My midnight snack stash. I don't have any, but I think I should have some. I don't have any. Sounds like something someone with a snack stash would say. Speak up, you candy hoarding raccoon. Speak up, you candy hoarding raccoon. Sometimes I was afraid our generation's Shakespeare would get buried in the noise. Glad to see I was wrong. That person buds. The number of packets of crisps I eat in a evening. If I don't know the answer, she shouldn't either. My dad wakes up every night without fail and eats at least 2 packets of crisps, and I don't know how he does it. Like, how big are these packets? I'm not judging. I ate almost completely solo an entire full-sized bag of Doritos the other day. I was just curious. It's not that it should be kept private, as in forcefully, but I believe both persons in a relationship should have privacy in their devices. My so has all my logins and passcodes for my phone and tablet, but this doesn't give her the right to go snooping for stuff that will never be there. She can totally grab my phone, if it's nearest, to search on Google, or grab someone's phone number, but we've agreed that if either of us snoop, you better be sure that there's going to be something to find, because if there isn't, then you deserve the trouble that you've caused. I have all my passwords and pins documented and handed over. It makes it easier on them if I die suddenly, and there's nothing that interesting in my accounts anyway, unless you're really into reading spam. Right. She's already told me she doesn't care about my miniatures. So why is she going to log in and look at other people's miniatures? How many Lego Death Stars I have bought. I love that you require multiple. So did the Empire. This is a really subjective answer, and I'm sure Reddit will disagree. But for me, bathroom time. I got 3 kids, and one of them is my full-time responsibility as her mom isn't around. I live in breath for my kids and I love them. But doing my morning and evening bathroom events, I really love the solitude. The last few women I dated were great, but they were just kinda barging, no matter what I was doing. To me, showering at the end of the day, brushing my teeth, using the toilet are all kind of zen for me. I just don't like sharing a shower or being interrupted while doing so. That's just me. I'm single, so maybe there's a reason for that. Pet it. For those saying just lock the door, I want to say my daughter is almost 5. When I shower I can't just leave her alone. That's how horrible accidents happen. Yay. She can pour herself water and use the potty alone, but I can't shut her out. If she has a problem I need her to be able to come in. I live alone and her brothers are only around ever so often due to custody orders. Locking my bathroom door just isn't a good idea with a toddler running around. She sits on my bed and usually watches TV while I shower. IDK if the women I've dated just saw this as an open opportunity, but locking the door to my kiddo just isn't a good idea. My girlfriend told me how much bigger her ex is compared to me. Ladies, for the love of God, don't do that. Fuck. One ex shared to me how his exes signaled to him they wanted sex. I hated knowing that, as I was near begging for more intimacy and each time he told me no, and then he'd tell me that. I hate remembering this. My ex-wife used to interrogate me after every therapy session I had. Edit. You people are amazing. I never expected to get this much support. Thank you all. How do I know? Some version of what did you say about me was asked every time.